The Bread and Better podcast acknowledges the Yagara people and the Turrbal people as the traditional custodians of Meanjin, the lands on which we record today. We pay our respects to the Yagara and Turrbal elders, past, present, and emerging. This podcast is brought to you by Hey Al Productions.
And then I'm Did I say good? Did I get you to do it one more time? Maybe just in case. Okay, do it one more time. Go. Bread and Better podcast. Okay. Bread and Better podcast. I feel like I am. Bread and Better podcast.
Welcome back to Bread and Better, a women's holistic health podcast. I am Tegan, the fitness and nutrition half of the potty. I have close to 10 years experience in the industry, and in that time I have heard it all from people looking for the quick fix. So we thought on today's episode we would dig deeper into a few common weight loss fads.
And I'm Alex, the producer of the podcast. In my time, I have fallen victim to the occasional weight loss trend, and I can't wait to hear more about what Tegan has to say about a few of these things today. If you are loving learning from us on the podcast, please take the time to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts so that new listeners can read what we are all about.
So we're double recording today, so I need to come up with two things that I ate, and I prepared none as per usual. This morning though, so on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram at Fitty_Tegs, I've been doing a few no prep dinners.
I'm excited to see what it is.
The people are enjoying them and asking for some more. So I made another one this morning and it slaps.
Oh, can I ask what it is, or do we have to wait for you to post it?
No, I can tell you. It's like a chicken Caesar wrap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there's absolutely no cooking. It's kind of like a little bit of a take on the chopped salad sandwich.
Yum.
Chopped sandwich that was around ages ago, which I didn't really get the point of because you could just put all of those things on a sandwich. But that same sort of vibe where it's all mixed together, but it's in a wrap and it's a Caesar theme.
Cool. That's good timing because Magnolia has decided that we've tried a few things before gymnastics because she gets so hungry. So we drive from school straight to gymnastics and she does 2 hours of training and it's intense. And we've spoken about things that
It's not in a gymnastics studio?
Yeah. What did I say?
It's intense.
Ah,
Little camping gag for you.
I was so confused then.
It wasn't my best.
Kev will love it. She, anyway, we've trialed like protein bars and stuff and nothing has really fueled her.
She probably wants to be having carbohydrates rather than protein before.
Well, this week afterwards, she goes, I know what I want. I want a chicken roll on the way. So maybe I can give these wraps a go.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
They're really good. I was impressed.
Okay. She'd love that. She loves chicken Caesar salad.
Although having said that, if I'm impressed, it'll probably tank because if I think a recipe is garbage, the people love it. I did not get the internet.
I don't get the internet either. That's wild.
Do you know those chocolate crackles?
Yeah.
It's at 80,000 views.
That's wild.
82,000 views.
I think they're nostalgic. People love them.
Yeah, but then some of the haters have been coming at me for the soy crisps.
Oh.
People don't like to eat soy. People don't like to eat anything.
People don't like to eat anything. People have a real issue with soy.
And also, if you're following me, you know that I'm not I'm very well-rounded in my nutrition. I wouldn't say that I promote clean eating ever.
No.
So, if you want to avoid certain things.
Your way of eating is very approachable.
So be it, but yeah, I'm probably not the gal for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I have 2 things this week.
We've got 2 episodes.
Yeah. I've got 3 things. I've saved something else for the next episode.
Good week of eating.
Yeah, I know. So Mother's Day on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I was very spoiled. I ate all of my favourite things in one day and we went to Marinara's for dinner.
Yum.
Yeah, the best.
I've been there in ages.
Oh, it's such a nice place. Such like a nice vibe.
Yeah.
I love going there.
Yeah, it's very authentic.
Yeah. And everyone there's Italian and they're just so lovely.
And they got the checkered tablecloths.
Yeah. I love it. And I had I had a gluten-free, dairy-free.
I'm shook.
Garlic cheese pizza, which was to die for. And then I had a seafood marinara, which was really yummy. And it had like a very seafoody taste through the whole, but in a delicious way, obviously, through the whole sauce. So it wasn't just like a tomato-y sauce. It was like it had been
salty.
Yeah, it was really, really yummy. And then afterwards we went to Sugome for ice cream on Oxford Street, and I think it is the best gelato in the world. I mean, in Australia, other than Italy. And I had a pine lime and a pomegranate ice cream. It was so good. Yeah, and it was, no joke, as big as my head.
Spoiler alert for next week's. Oh, no, we're not recording next week, so I won't get to say it.
Oh, you can say it the week after.
I'm going to the seafood buffet at the Langham tomorrow night.
Oh, what? Fancy. Oh, watch out. I love a seafood buffet.
Yeah. Well, we've been to the one at the Sheridan.
Yeah, I used to go there all the time.
Going to the one at the Langham, haven't been there yet.
I feel like Sheridan Seafood Buffet was like the go-to date place when I was in my 20s.
Fuck, how much money did you people have?
We used to spend so much money on the weekends when we were in our early 20s. Kev and I used to go to like the fanciest places for dinner.
God, I just spent my money on a couple of bottles of Passion Pop and a deck of PJ Gold.
That is so
Sorry, Mum.
Different vibes.
Different vibes.
Yeah, but the ice cream, this is like
back to you.
Back to my ice cream.
Sorry, I just like rudely interjected there with my weekend plans.
I'm excited for the seafood buffet. But the ice cream, it was so nice because it was really cold. Like, I mean, not the ice cream, like the weather. And so we went and got the ice cream, and like this won't surprise you, I'm a freak with food being the exact temperature it should be at all times. And like I will really panic about my ice cream like melting before I get to eat it, and I plan like everything so I eat it at the perfect temperature. And I was like, where are we going to eat this ice cream? It's going to melt. I'm going to have to help the kids with their ice cream.
So what do you do? Like walk into a cold room and say, hey, I need to eat my ice cream in here because it's too fucking hot out there.
Well, we grabbed it and we walked straight to the car and sat in the car and ate it.
Pump the AC, Kev.
It was so good because I could just enjoy my ice cream. The kids were in the back sitting still so they didn't spill it everywhere. And it was so cute, and we were all laughing and trying each other's ice cream, and it was really, really, really nice.
I don't know if that applies because last weekend I got an acai bowl, and it was a bit cold to be having an acai bowl. And by the time I finished the acai bowl, I was so cold I was shivering, and like you could have hung a coat hanger off my nipples. So I think I want things to be like the opposite of what the temperature. Like if it's cold, I want to eat something warm.
No, I'm like that, but I mean like if something's supposed to be cold, I want to eat it cold. Like I don't like hot things.
You just don't want things to melt.
Cold things. Yeah, but like
what about, okay, I've got it. This would be a good red light, green light.
Okay.
Where do you keep your sauce?
In the fridge.
No, but that's fucked up because you're going to put it on hot food. So you're putting a cold thing on hot food.
Yeah, but it'll go moldy in the
No,
cupboard.
it won't.
Nah, keep it in the fridge. But I take
Well, I've just blown your whole theory out of the water.
That's a good point.
I've always had a gripe with people that put cold sauce on hot food.
Yeah, that's true. I put my sauce on the side and I dip my food into the sauce though.
Of course you do. Okay, we'll just give you time to reevaluate your whole life.
Now in my head, I'm not going to be able to focus on this episode.
Where should I be keeping the sauce? Have I fucked this up?
I've done it wrong my whole life.
Sauce goes in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Except for mayonnaise.
Yeah, mayonnaise should go in the fridge.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. I'm going to have to reevaluate everything.
Where do you keep your chocolate?
In the freezer.
Same.
Ah!
Get fucked. No one does that.
People think it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's better.
The colder the better.
Yeah, I agree.
That is so strange. I've never
like
met anyone else that like straight away goes freezer.
That's so funny.
There
Where do
we
you
go.
keep your grated cheese?
In the fridge.
I know a lot of people that keep it in the freezer.
So it doesn't go moldy?
Doesn't last that long in my house, Dal. Do you know I saw a hack on TikTok that you should wash your grated cheese before you put it in your...
Sorry, what?
No. It says that you should wash your grated cheese before you put it in your toasty because it washes off the stuff that keeps it from separating. So then it melts into like a perfect...
Just buy a block of cheese and grate it yourself and it won't have that
Well, I just thought it was an
clumping,
interesting hack.
not anti-clumping agent.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a go.
Just buy a cheese and grate it.
That's so annoying. I cut myself every time I use a grater.
Cheese. That's insane.
Well, I'm just going to try the hack. I can't use a grater. Every time I have to do it, I give it to Kev because I like shave off my nipples.
I'm a little baby.
People get bits of skin in there. Thank you to everyone who sent these in. I'm excited. Let's get started. Over to you, Tegan.
All right. If you've forgotten what we're talking about because we just went on an unhinged rant about where to keep your groceries, today's episode is going to be about weight loss trends and some of the quick fix ways we see to lose weight, and we're going to break them down a little bit. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's one thing that leads to weight loss, and that is creating a calorie deficit. So essentially taking in less calories than you are burning. There's no magic pill. There's no silver bullet that's going to be more effective than this. I feel like on the whole, people are either impatient or lazy, and they're looking for an easier or quicker way to get to where they want to be.
Yes.
And that's why all of these things, it's very easy to market these things in that way, because that's what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So to put it this way, if I could offer people the result that they desire in 1 year with all of the knowledge and experience they need to be able to maintain that result, or I could offer them the result in 3 months with no knowledge of how to maintain it whatsoever, most people would still pick the fucking second option. Just get me there.
Yeah.
Once I get there, I'm going to be fine. Just get me there.
Yeah.
You're not. I'll tell you right now. And that's why when we have like challenges or detoxes and shit like that are really popular, people want the results fast, even if they aren't sustainable and they don't have the knowledge of how to sustain it. People aren't even thinking that far. They're just thinking, if I get there, I'm never going back. Well, you are.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the tools that you need in order to maintain that result. So in my business with the clients that I work with, I ask my clients to approach what we do together as the last time that they'll ever need to lose weight, because I'm going to give them all the information and the education to know how to maintain that result. So I say to them, like, if this is going to be the last time that you ever need to lose weight, what is the hurry?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the slow way is actually the fast way. But for those of you who are thinking, nah, give me the quick fix, let's get into some of these.
Yeah. First one, and this is interesting because last night I was with a bunch of mums from school and they started talking about HIIT training, and I was like, oh, and they asked me questions. I'm like, I don't know, but we're actually talking about this on the podcast tomorrow.
Oh, timely.
So, very timely. I think people assume because of you, I know more than I do.
Like, you're a PT now.
Exactly.
That's like when people ask me about like podcast like production questions, and I'm like, I don't fucking know, mate. I turn up and talk.
Ask Alex. Okay, so is HIIT training the best for weight loss?
Yeah. So for those that don't know what HIIT training is high intensity interval training. And it's like most of the group fitness gyms that you go to are doing some variation of HIIT training.
Yeah.
So you guys know my background. Well, if you don't know my background, I worked for F45 for 7.5 years, and I love HIIT style training. I think it's great, but it's not because it's the best for fat loss.
Yeah.
So I think the first place to start this is if you're looking at any style of training as being the best for fat loss, you're already barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of good reasons why we should move our bodies. But in terms of weight loss, what you're going to do with your nutrition is going to be way more impactful. So if you're looking at any sort of training to be the best to lose fat, I would actually question yourself to go, no, what am I doing with my nutrition?
Yeah.
We burn about 5 to 15% of our daily calories in a training session, so not that many.
Yeah.
We actually burn more calories just digesting our food.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to flag that first. If you're looking at training to burn fat, just stop that.
Yeah. Just don't do that.
Just stop that right now. I don't get my clients to track calories burned in training. And a lot of those calculations are flawed anyway, and it's just a guess. So you know how you might see on your Garmin that you burnt X amount of calories in that session, or some of them have like heart rate trackers that do have the calorie burn on there. Those are great tools for other reasons.
Yeah.
But in terms of tracking calories, I wouldn't really use them because A, they're not accurate, and B, it's just not a good way to go about things, which I'm going to get into a little bit more. The only time that I get my clients to track their calories burnt or be conscious of their calories burnt is if they're training for a long distance running event.
Yeah.
And that's to ensure that they're not under fueling, which is also something that I'm going to talk about today. But I get my clients to separate training and nutrition as two separate things in their mind, because you can't out-train your diet. And I don't think it's healthy for you to have this mentality of being like, I trained really hard, so I get to eat more. Or I ate poorly, or I ate too much, so I need to train.
Yes.
Because that's already creating like a reward restrict mentality. And I think that that's a really unhealthy mindset to get into. So if I have clients that are coming to me with a fat loss goal, yes, definitely everybody should be moving their bodies, and, moving their bodies in a way that's good for them with their lifestyle, they enjoy what feels good, that might be HIIT training, but we're going to keep their nutrition separate.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to impact their fat loss. I get them to separate them out as being like, this is my training and this is why I'm training. And that's going to be, you know, for my mental health, for my longevity, for my strength, for all of those other great reasons to train. But this is my nutrition, and my nutrition is what's going to impact my fat loss.
Yeah.
So HIIT and group style fitness training is great for people that aren't going to be training otherwise. Like, it's all done for you. You get in, you get out. You get a really good workout, you're hot, you're sweaty. But I just want to touch on that I think that there are some downsides as well, in my opinion. So just to give everyone all of the information, already saying the answer to the question, is it the best for fat loss? No training is best for fat loss. Nutrition is what's going to be best. But just wanted to touch on HIIT training while we're here. So HIIT training can be really hard on the body because we are doing like really short, sharp, intense work periods. Yeah. And for that reason, it's not intended to be done every day. So people might join a group fitness gym and they want to get bang for their buck. They're going 6-7 days a week. However, they might find that they have recurring issues or difficulty recovering if they don't monitor these things.
Yeah.
HIIT training can also play havoc on cortisol levels and hormones. So for women with health conditions that are affected by these things, it's probably not going to be a good option.
Yeah.
So you should probably be more likely doing things that are going to keep your cortisol levels lower, because you don't want that to be impacting your hormones. So you're looking at traditional resistance training and walking instead.
Is that because of the stress that it puts on the body?
Yeah, correct. Which we did talk about with Emma.
Yeah.
And remember, she was talking about for people with anxiety, that can be a really good thing with HIIT training, because that's, you know, you're spiking your cortisol levels in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
But if you're someone that needs to keep them quite stable and you don't want to be unnecessarily spiking them, then this could be problematic.
Yeah.
And my one other small gripe with HIIT style training is there's not a lot of opportunity for progressive overload.
Okay.
So we have talked about that before in some training related episodes. So HIIT training has a lot of variety, which people love. And especially if you're someone that, you know, does get bored with a traditional resistance style program. But in terms of increasing strength and muscle mass, and because we are talking about burning fat, having more muscle mass actually does mean that you burn more calories at rest.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as effective as traditional resistance training, where you have a program like you have at the moment on your build phase, and you're going in and doing the same exercises every week with the intention to get stronger and to move more weight or to do more reps.
Yeah.
Versus you might get, you know, over the course of a 6-week period, you might do squats on all these different days, but you might do them with different mediums or in different ways. So you don't really have that opportunity to track if you're progressively overloading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I know what all that means now.
Everybody should. If you don't, should I just quickly summarize what progressive overload means for people that don't understand? So in order to get stronger or to build muscle mass, what we need to do is we need to keep loading the same muscles in the same manner, but we need to be adding weight or adding reps. So when we're looking at progressive overload, say we're doing a squat and we're going into the gym on every Monday, we're doing our squats. Each week we want to go in and either do a little bit more weight or a little bit more reps so that the overall volume is increased, and then that is going to give our muscles, along with our nutrition, with enough protein and enough food, the stimulus to be able to grow stronger or to grow bigger.
Yeah. I feel like this leads on to what you have already said about separating training and nutrition for weight loss, but is running a good way to lose weight?
Great question. And I feel like this is super trendy at the moment. And I see, because there's a lot of run clubs.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of bodybuilders bashing running, which I don't love. And there are a lot of run clubs out there, but I don't think people that are in run clubs to lose weight. I think that they're in run clubs for the community and the challenge. And I think that it's clickbaity for people to be able to go, oh, you're running to lose weight. And it's just gimmicky. So again, reinforcing that I believe that training and nutrition should be kept separate for people with a fat loss goal. There's a few things that I do want to touch on in terms of running, and if you are using running as a weight loss technique, like going back to what I was saying before about, you know, thinking about your movement for all the reasons that it is positive that aren't related to fat loss. And with running, there's so many good ones as well, in that like it's a real mental challenge. You build mental resilience. It's meditative, in my opinion. You spend a lot of time in your own mind, which is a really good thing. And that's probably why a lot of people find running hard.
Yeah. Can I interject here?
Go on.
Because on Mother's Day, so on Sunday, Kev got me some new LSKD the rep tights.
Yeah.
So they're just like, I've got the bike shorts, which I'm obsessed with. Anyway, I'm like, I am going to go for a run on Mother's Day. And it was raining, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go. And it was the best run that I have done in like years.
Nice.
And I was so proud of myself. Like, I was almost vomiting. And I got to like the 2.5 mark, and I had on my Strava, I had like it, so it would say you're at this point, which I don't normally have. But when I got to that and I saw the time, I was like, oh, you could almost do this in like 30 minutes, which would be like an achievement for me for where I've been at. And I pushed myself so much harder than I normally would. And I was just like, what would Tegan do? What would Tegan say? Tegan can do this without headphones. Like, you can do this. It was, I think I kept telling myself, like, you're going to feel so good at the end of this. And then I would get to a point where I'm like, nah, you're going to die. Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, you don't have to be doing this. It was such a head
It's a
fuck.
fucking roller coaster.
Yeah. And then I got to the point where I was watching my phone to see where I was at. And I was like 90 more meters.
Yeah.
And then I was almost throwing up. And I got to the end and I was like, but I did it.
And then you're like, I feel amazing. I love running.
I love running. But while you're running, you're like, what the fuck would I do this to myself? This is awful.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And yeah, that's a good reason to run,
Yeah.
to challenge yourself in that way, because you have said that whole time, I can do it, I can't do it, I can do it, I can't do it. And you're building confidence by doing something that you don't think that you could do. And you're learning to sit with your thoughts and to overcome negative thinking. Like, there's so many benefits in that regard. But running, particularly long distance running, requires fueling.
Yeah.
And if you aren't fueling effectively for long distance running, you can put yourself in a really dangerous position. So if you are someone that's dieting and, doing running, that's really not a good thing to be doing. So it's not a healthy way to be doing things. So the first year, like, to talk about myself, the first year that I prepped for a marathon, I didn't get this right. Okay. And I suffered some pretty serious repercussions. So I lost my period for probably 6 to 8 months.
Wow.
And I didn't have a particularly low body fat percentage. So when you walk, you're burning fat for fuel, you're just slowly burning calories. When you run, because of the energy systems, which I won't get into, but you're predominantly burning carbohydrates. So you're burning off the fuel that you have in your body that your body needs for other things, and you don't have any fuel available versus burning off the fat. So it's called REDS, so relative energy deficiency in sport, or it's known as well as the female athlete triad, is what happens when your body isn't taking in enough energy to meet the training demand. So if you are running more than you are eating as like a dieting method, you could put yourself at risk of REDS. And it leads to not only poor performance, but also poor health. And the effects can include irregular or lost periods, which is never a good thing. Like our periods being regular and healthy is a really good sign of good health, but also recurrent illnesses. So picking up every cold, flu, gastro bug, mood swings, iron deficiency, and chronic injury due to reduced bone density. And that's why, people with disordered eating that are using running as a way to lose weight will often get stress fractures and recurring injuries because their body's not in a healthy state. Mm-hmm. So in summary, if you're using long distance running as a weight loss method, you're really taking a big gamble with your overall health. You might not you likely won't get the result that you want. You'll be surprised at how much food you should be taking in to fuel long distance running. But if you are long distance running, you'll also feel how hungry it makes you. So if you're trying to do a diet and trying to eat and you're burning these massive amounts of calories on the run, that needs to be replaced. Anyone that is training for a long distance running event should take their fueling really seriously. So I like running because it builds mental resilience and you get so much feedback with your improvement. But again, as far as a weight loss method goes, it's not the best way to go about things, particularly if you value your overall health, which you should.
Yeah. I think that like what you've just said, like absolutely hits the nail on the head for me, like how you can track your progress.
Because you can always go a little bit further or you can always go a little bit faster. There's lots of positive reinforcement.
Yeah, I definitely try and beat my own pace every time. That's what I aim for. And I mean, you don't always get there every time, but it's a really good, I mean, in the gym, I find it a bit harder like to see, I mean, over a few weeks you can definitely see, more muscles and lifting more and stuff, but I do find that running can be and if you push yourself harder, it can be a real instant kind of gratifying thing.
And then there's those post-run endorphins.
Oh my God, I love it.
I love those.
Makes me feel so good.
Yeah, those are great reasons to run.
Yeah.
Running for fat loss, again, it's going to be more impactful to focus on your nutrition and you're going to get better results.
Yeah, definitely. So all of that makes so much sense. Let's move on to some of the other ones people have sent through. So we've touched on this before, but can we go a little bit more in depth into intermittent fasting? So I know a lot of people lose weight via intermittent fasting, but I don't know if people know enough about it.
Yeah, so for those who don't know what it is, intermittent fasting is when you limit your eating window in the day. So either skipping breakfast essentially and having your first meal at lunchtime, or having a certain window of the day where you eat, which is usually a 16-hour fast followed by an 8-hour eating window. So someone might eat from 12 till 8, or they might eat from 10 till 6. That might be their eating window. And then there's some even more extreme approaches where people do like a 5 days of normal eating and then 2 days where they eat very low calories, like it might be one meal of 500 calories.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's a more sort of extreme end of the scale. So essentially what you're doing is you're limiting your eating window. There is some evidence to suggest that there's something called metabolic switching, which happens with fasting and has some reported benefits. However, and I do believe with a lot of these things, whatever you believe, you'll be able to find some research to back it up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like everything.
Yeah. But I believe, like, in my opinion, what it really boils down to, and the reason that people get results with intermittent fasting is because they have less time to eat in the day.
Yeah.
Therefore, they eat less and therefore they create a calorie deficit.
Literally.
Yeah. So yes, this can be a really good strategy if you find, having 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. too big of an eating window. It might be a really good idea to – no, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to tell you actually instead why I don't think intermittent fasting is the best option.
Yeah.
First one is protein feeding windows. So we've talked about this before on other episodes, but if you are prioritizing building muscle mass or retaining muscle mass, which you should care about these things if you care about longevity. So if you're doing a resistance program with progressive overload with the goal to build muscle mass, but you also want to lose some body fat and you're using intermittent fasting, you might be shooting yourself in the foot, because if you train at 6 a.m. and then you don't eat until midday, you've lost probably 2 protein feeding windows in there. So you've lost the ability to kind of build as much muscle mass as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So that's problematic to start with.
Yeah.
The second one is hunger cues, and we've talked about it so many times. We've got this from Emma on an episode. I talk about it constantly with my clients because I think it's brilliant. It's like leaning into our hunger cues and not losing them, and thinking about 0 being starving, I'm going to pass out, and 10 being I'm so stuffed that I need to lie down.
Sick, yeah.
If you are waiting until midday to have your first meal, you probably are pushing more towards that 0. Like you're getting really, really hungry, and then you might be more likely to push more to that 10. So you could still potentially overeat in that window because you are so hungry, and it is hard to get on top of that hunger, particularly if you've missed your protein feeding window, because we know protein is very satiating. So I think that that's problematic too, because we're ignoring that hunger cue.
Yeah.
And having an appetite in the morning is really good and healthy sign.
Yeah.
So there's hunger cues and kind of ignoring our hunger cues there. The other thing is it's like a little bit of a restrictive behavior, like I cannot eat until this time.
Yeah, which makes you want it more. And then I feel like some people I know that do intermittent fasting feel like they can eat so much more in that window because they're not eating in the other window.
Yeah, which like they could potentially still overeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just restrictive. Like you're putting that rule on that I can't eat until 12 and then I can stuff my face at 12 or whatever time. The other thing is it's socially challenging. So you can't go out for brekkie, or if you have a window where you might be able to not go out for dinner, you might not be able to have coffee with your partner. Like there is some social barriers, and there is some evidence to say that it can have a poor effect on female hormones. So if that's something that's really important to you, I would look into more research around that as well. So, the method, again, it just comes back to it is creating a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Because they're able to eat less food over the course of the day. But you could create that same effect by having, 3 balanced meals rather than 2 huge meals and get more protein feeding windows and still be able to have breakfast with your family if you're more mindful of what you're intaking at those 3 meals. I don't think, you could push your brekkie back a little bit and look at it that way, but this is just my opinion on why I don't think it's a good option. Like if it works for you and you feel like you're getting results, and so be it. But is it a magic pill to make you lose more weight? No, it's a calorie deficit.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Okay, this one, juice detoxes and cleansers.
Yeah, the people that say, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, so I'm just going to do a juice detox and I've started HIIT training. And I just go, fuck your poor body.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one does get me, particularly as people get a fast weight loss result with a juice cleanse.
Is that because you're just literally losing like fluid?
Yeah, no shit. When you've only taken in extremely low calories for like multiple days consecutively, yes, you are going to get a weight loss result. Are you getting a fat loss result? Probably not. So the result that you're getting, like you might do your juice cleanse and you probably haven't got any food. Well, you don't have any food in your stomach. So you might lose kilos, but it's not fat loss because we know it takes, time to lose fat. And as soon as you put food in your body again, you're going to see that scale weight result go up.
Yeah.
And also it's like that deprivation where you're like, oh, I'm on this juice cleanse. I've just got to get to day 5 and then I'm going to eat a fucking cheeseburger and, McFlurry and, 1,000 of extra calories that I don't really need.
Yeah.
So they start planning out everything that they're going to eat when they're done. Also keep in mind that our body has internal organs that their function is to detox us. You don't need a juice cleanse to detox.
I love that. Yeah.
It's like that's what your
that's
liver.
what your liver's for.
100%.
Yeah.
That is what your liver is for.
Yeah.
That is literally why it's there.
Yeah. So maybe if you want to detox instead of doing a juice cleanse, you could stop drinking. You could stop drinking caffeine, right? Like would that be?
Yeah, you could.
If you wanted to do a week of detoxing, there might be healthier ways of doing that, right? Like I don't know.
Just don't detox. Just
Yeah.
look, and let's go back to abundance versus restriction.
Yeah.
Instead of saying I'm going to detox and take away food, sugar, alcohol, caffeine, whatever. Let's look at how can we become healthier by what we can add in. These beautiful juices that have all these nutrients, let's add a juice into our diet amongst our food. Let's add extra vegetables into our diet. Let's add extra fruit into our diet. Let's look at how we can improve our wellness by what we can add rather than what we can take away.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
In all honesty, this is the one that I fell victim to in my early 20s.
I've bought this too.
Have you?
Yeah.
I bought it and then had the worst diarrhea for 2
You're giving
days.
away the content.
Sorry, I'm giving it away. Diet teas.
Yeah, you had diarrhea because they're laxatives.
It was awful and I didn't know that would happen, and I was going to an event and it was horrible.
Yeah, so they're laxatives and often they claim to help with bloating. So if you're experiencing bloating, you need to look at the root cause of why that is happening. A tea that's going to cause you to have a rapid bowel movement the following morning is definitely not an answer. You might feel less bloated, but it's just because you've been emptied.
Yeah.
If you are experiencing bloating, I would look at your diet and work on your gut health, or look at if you have intolerances to something. Diet teas may cause a weight loss result on the scales for a day, again, because you've just shit out everything that's in your stomach.
Yeah.
But as a long-term weight loss strategy, it's not healthy and it could be extremely damaging.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they're bad. Bad news.
Bad. I actually don't know how they're, not regulated, but I guess people can buy laxatives over the counter as well. But yeah, in summary, and perfect leading on from that, anything that's marketed as a fast way to lose weight, just probably fucking run in the other direction.
Yeah.
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Creating a calorie deficit is the best and the only way to lose weight. This doesn't need to be restrictive. I just want to stress as well that there is a big difference between eating healthy and eating for weight loss, which we've touched on before, and we could probably do a whole episode on this, but like clean eating isn't necessarily the answer. Teaching people how to get a weight loss result in a healthy and sustainable manner is literally what I do for a living. So if you are ready to lose weight for the last time and keep it off, please reach out to me via Instagram at Fitty_Tegs and let's chat about how I can give you a nutritional education that is lifelong. We're going to do red light, green light, everyone's favorite segment.
Yeah. We have a few from one of our very dedicated listeners.
Shout out, Bron.
Thanks, Bron. So first one, your significant other's best friend is the opposite sex.
Green light.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So I was Kev's best friend. So I don't know. Red light.
Most of my best mates are guys.
Yeah.
Before I had the group.
Well, you've got Liam.
And Kiwi.
Yeah. Let's say orange. It depends on the situation. It depends on the type.
What about your significant other hanging out with a friend of the opposite sex one-on-one?
It depends who it was. Like if it was any of you girls, that would be fine.
I have so many friends. Like I have so many like guy friends that I have dinner with.
Yeah. So, okay. So if it's any of the people that we're mutual friends with, that's fine. If Kev comes home to me and goes, I'm going to go out to dinner with this girl from work on the weekend, I'd be like, okay, well, take a bag with you because you won't be coming home that night.
Wow. So what about, what about, this is controversial.
Lunch, maybe lunch during work is different.
I think maybe if it's a friend that they made before you were together, it's okay.
Yeah.
So what if I get a new partner? Am I not allowed to see any of my friends?
No, of course not.
One-on-one.
That's a good rule.
If he doesn't think, if I get a new partner and they say you can't have guy friends, I would actually say, see ya.
Yeah. I think this one's too hard. I think this one's too specific to the situation.
I think green light and I think you're red light.
Yeah, I'm red light.
Good one, Bron.
Thanks, Bron. That's a controversial one. All right.
Okay, next one.
Yeah.
Eating kiwi fruit with the skin on.
So I used to do that when I was little because I was lazy, and now I think it just ruins it. So red light.
Red light.
Yeah.
Kiwi fruit is my favourite fruit.
Is it?
Favourite, hands down.
So yummy. Kiwi fruit on pavlova. Oh my God, I'm going to make you something. When I was little, my mum used to make kiwi fruit and banana muffins. Have you had them?
No.
Oh my God, they're so yummy. I've made them for the kids a few times. It sounds weird, but they're not. I'm going to make them for you not next week, the week after when I see you.
Okay.
They're delicious.
I'll give it a go. I love kiwi fruit. One of the and like you just cut it in half and scoop it out with a spoon.
Yeah, that wastes so much kiwi fruit. I like to peel them.
I get it right in there with a peeler.
Yeah,
interesting. Apparently the gold ones aren't as hairy.
Oh yeah.
I actually played red light, green light at a party on the weekend.
Yeah.
Because this chick was like, I feel like being a bit like argumentative, and I was like, I got you. And I did the bins, the dog poo in the bins, and people get fired up.
Yeah.
And the shopping trolley.
Oh yes.
The two best ones.
People always feel the need to talk to me about shopping trolleys now. And I'm like, I'd move them out of the way. Okay, next one. So this is for all of our Camp Hill listeners on the Camp Hill community group last night. There was this woman, she was a grandmother, and she was shopping at Woolworths yesterday, and she had her granddaughter in the trolley, and they were walking around. Anyway, they bought some grapes and they were shopping, and then at the end her granddaughter was eating a grape at the checkout, and the checkout lady said to her, those aren't part of the free fruit. And the grandma was like, oh, yes, I know, but she loves them. It's only one. And she goes, well, we can't weigh that one individual grape now for you to pay for. And the grandma was like, kind of like didn't really think much of it. And then when she was leaving, she kind of realized that the woman was accusing her of stealing the grape. So she went back and was like, well, weigh a grape and I'll pay for it. And they were like, no, well, we can't now because it doesn't, it's too light to weigh. So we won't be able to charge you for one grape. Anyway, so the red light, green light is it okay to eat a grape or some grapes when you're shopping?
Well, it is technically stealing.
Oh my God, Tegan. So there were people who were like, you're stealing.
That kid did not eat one grape. I bet you that kid ate a fucking heap of grapes.
But who cares? Like, I don't think she ate too many.
They've got way bigger fish to fry with the fucking self-checkout.
I just think green light to eating a few grapes. Not a lot of grapes, but like if your child picks, one or two grapes from the bag when you're shopping, Who cares?
Sometimes I eat an almond from the pick and pay.
I just am like, that is the pettiest thing I've ever heard. Woolworths are making plenty of money. They don't need one grape.
Yeah, that lady must have just been having a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, eat a grape.
Eat a grape.
Green light.
Yeah.
Fucking yellow. Okay. Fruit. We're on a fruit path.
Okay.
Eating bananas that are brown.
Like, I don't like bananas, so I'm the wrong person.
Some people have a real
I will
opposition to
only
bananas.
eat a perfect ladyfinger banana.
Oh,
That is all. I don't like any other bananas. I think they're disgusting. I don't like the smell. I don't like them being near me. I'll eat them in everything that they come in, but like a banana, like bleh, and a brown banana. Bleh.
So I'll eat a brown banana if I'm sure that the
makes me gag a bit.
structure. Oh, I bet you it does. I will eat a brown banana if it's not bruised. So like sometimes when they're in the fridge, like if you leave them in the fridge for long, they'll go brown, but they're like still perfectly like if you keep your bananas in the fridge, they last way longer.
Yeah.
And they're still like perfect on the inside, like perfect, right? But if it's bruised, you can fuck off. And what about the little demon end of the banana, the wrong end? Why is that so fucked?
It's so disgusting, but it's quite nice when it's cooked into something like in a muffin. When you get that little bit of the banana, it's fine, but on its own, it's gross.
I don't know about
It goes
that.
a bit chewy.
Okay, I've got another food related
Okay.
one. The Uber Eats guy having a few of your chips.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Well, you just had the grape at the supermarket. What's the difference?
It's a big difference. That's like he would have to reach into the bag and get them
just
out.
one, just one.
But then his fingers might touch other chips.
But you might touch other grapes.
Yeah, but you're eating the grapes out of the bag that you've bought.
Grey
Or maybe
area.
not, but you wash fruit anyway, so that's different. You're not going to wash your French fries.
Well, you're going to wash cheese. There's no limit to what we can wash.
You know, people in America wash chicken.
Like raw chicken.
Yeah, before they cook it.
Right.
Let's do one more. Using sick leave for hangovers.
I'm saying it's a red light, but I'm not saying I haven't done it.
It is a big red light. And if I was your employer, I would be very annoyed.
Oh, you wouldn't say that you were hungover.
No, I know. But if you saw photos of them going out the night before on Instagram and then they called in sick in the morning, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, and as having been a manager and having had people do that, it grinds my gears.
Yeah.
And I have worked 99% of my hangovers. Oh, mate, when I was working in hospitality, like I was like allowing myself an hourly vomit because I was that hungover.
Oh my God.
And like going to work days on end without having slept. No, I just sucked it up. But I do remember once I was experiencing like pretty bad anxiety from the Saturday night and I called in sick on the Monday. But red light.
Yeah, red light.
Red light, but I'm going to say I've done it.
I've never done it because I would just like suck it up. When I used to drink, I was the most annoying hungover person. If you were hungover and you were around me, I would wake up at like 6:30. I'd be like, we're going to the beach. Get up.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a bit
being
like that too.
hungover
I
is
like-
not going to ruin our day.
Nah, I hate wasting a day.
Yeah, so no one was allowed to be hungover
What
around
about
me.
when you go to work and you're hungover and you like oversell how good you feel? Like
Yeah,
someone's
yeah, yeah.
like, how are you? Like, oh, mate, I've never been
Great.
better. Having the time of my life. What'd you do? I was like, oh, just a quiet one.
Nothing at all, leaves to vomit.
And you just like a reek of alcohol.
Yeah.
Full of nightclub stamps.
Oh, yeah. God. Nightclub stamps. Sense memories.
All right. That's the end.
That's it. Thanks for sharing all that information with us today, Tegan. I loved it. And this is why I wanted to do the episode because so much valuable information in there. And I love picking your brains about all of these things. And I can't wait for the listeners to hear it. If you know someone that you think needs to hear this, please make sure you send it to them.
So thanks for letting me rant about the things that I'm passionate about. If one person says they are going to try a sustainable calorie deficit rather than a fucking juice cleanse, then this episode will have been a win.
Yeah.
Knowledge is everything, and I wish that I didn't spend my early 20s trying all the random quick fixes. Anyway, wrapping up. Thanks, guys.
Bye.